Hello. So today I am doing a watercolor painting. I'm using these Arteza Watercolor products that my bestie sent me. So shout out to my bestie. Thank you. We've got a expert level 100% cotton hot press paper. I also have the Arteza watercolor palette, and we'll get to take a look at that a little bit later. I haven't used either one of these, so this is going to be the first time I've ever used these. So this is going to be a little bit different, and I'm going to be trying a lot of new things here today because one, I don't do backgrounds. Two, the paper is new. Honestly, I just don't use watercolors a lot, so this is going to be fun. It's going to be challenging, but it doesn't take away from the fun. So while I'm getting all this set up, I'm going to be showing you two things at a time. So you pick your poison on the torture that you want to watch. On one side, I'm going to be showing how I transferred the sketch, which is using a graphite paper, and you just put this underneath your sketch. So you would trace over it and it would transfer it onto the paper. And then on the right hand side, I'm going to show you the sketching process of how I created the whole idea and whatnot. I basically am going to be drawing Uraraka, and she's going to be out in a rocky, mountainy field, and she's going to be using her quirk. She's going to have rocks surrounding her, and she's going to be floating up a little bit, which is kind of hard to tell because you can't see her feet, but I don't know. Let me know if you kind of get that vibe or not. All right, so touching on the transfer process a little bit, this was the first time that I used a graphite transfer paper. Usually I would just go in with some charcoal on the back of my paper, which I'm sure most artists have done in the past. And I gotta say, this graphite paper was a nice change because it wasn't messy like charcoal on the back of your paper is. So while the sketch was transferring pretty nicely, I was using the tool that came with the graphite transfer set. And one of the things that I would have to say about that is that you can't really tell where you've gone over. And if you notice, I'll pass my fingers a lot over the paper, and that's just me trying to find the indents of the areas that I've already gone through. Or I'll lift the paper itself and see if I've transferred that area of the sketch or not. I'd say next time I'd definitely use a colored pen, something that'll stand out like blue or red. And I think that'll just make it a lot quicker on the transferring process because it'll be easy to see where I've already gone over or not. But as you can see, the transferring process went smoothly. And now I'm going to be moving on to masking my drawing. I'm going to be covering the areas that I do not want paint to get on. And once that dries, I can paint over it and take off all the masking fluid that I put on the paint, and it should keep those areas from getting colored in any kind of way. And since watching me paint on masking fluid that you cannot see is absolutely boring, we're just gonna abruptly cut right here and move on to the painting process. I'm gonna start with the sky, and again, a lot of firsts in this video because I've never used that masking fluid before, and I'm really just hoping it's gonna work the way that it's supposed to. But anyways, we're going to start off with the sky. I'm going to do a layer of blue. And as you can see, I'm going in with a paper towel, and I am dabbing into the places that I want to make clouds. So by dabbing with the paper towel, I am going to be lifting that color. And it's perfect for making clouds because some areas will come off more than others. Like the paint will lift more than others. And so it'll give it somewhat of a transparency look, just like the clouds in the sky. You know, sometimes they look very nice and white. Other times you can kind of see the blue from the sky in the back. And that's kind of what I'm doing here. So once the clouds are done, I am going to go in with a second layer of the blue color. That's the thing about watercolors, is that you have to really layer on the paint because it doesn't look as dark as you would want once it dries. It does dry a bit lighter. Once the sky is done and dried, then I can start working on the ground. After putting down the first layer of the ground color, I went ahead and put a piece of tape straight across, trying to make a straight line, and that kind of backfired on me a little bit, but let's just say happy accidents. I also tried giving the ground a bit of a texture, and so you see me moving my brush back and forth, and I really liked it at first. And then I tried adding more texture by doing a second layer of it, and then I just didn't really like it so much. I felt like it started looking a little more like water. So, hey, cool little technique I found to do water, but that's just not what I'm trying to do here. And so here's for my happy accident. I take off the tape, and the watercolor seemed to pool under the tape. But I thought they looked a little bit like mountains. And since she is in a rocky field of sorts, it would only make sense for there to be mountains. And now that everything is dried, it is time to take off the masking fluid, which didn't work out quite as planned. But it did its job for the majority of the part. Again, first time with everything, there's going to be a few hiccups along the way, but overall, not a huge disaster. And we can go on to painting the character. Okay. Now, on to my favorite part, but also my most nerve-wracking part, because coloring the character can make or break your painting. If you mess up the character, it's like, ah! It's literally the main focus of the entire piece. So let's go. you got to the end. I thank you guys and appreciate your time watching me create some fun art. I hope you guys like the video, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you around for the next one. Bye.